Your husband is marrying Amanda right now. Margaret's voice oozed through the phone, every word coated in smug satisfaction. He won't divorce you or give you a penny. You get nothing. I stirred honey into my tea, letting the spoon clink softly against the porcelain. The morning sun spilled across my kitchen counter, warm and golden, and I smiled at the absurdity of her timing. Thank you for letting me know, I said evenly, taking a slow sip. Silence, not the reaction she'd been expecting. I could practically picture her frowning, thrown off balance. Did you hear me? She snapped. David is getting married to Amanda right now at our family church. You're finished. I heard you, Margaret. Anything else? I'm Olivia Parker, 34, and I was listening to my mother-in-law announce my husband's illegal second marriage like it was the best gossip of her life. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I'd been waiting for this moment. You're taking this rather well, she said warily, finally understanding your place. Are you? David deserves someone young and beautiful like Amanda, someone from a good family. I glanced at the thick manila envelope my lawyer had sent yesterday. I suppose we all get what we deserve, I said. The warning signs had started months ago, late nights, secret phone calls, a sudden password on his phone, but the real giveaway, when David insisted I add his mother to our joint account just in case anything happens, that was when I knew something was going to happen. David had always been his mother's golden boy, following every one of her suggestions. Margaret had made it clear from day one that I wasn't worthy. I was a teacher, hardly her idea of high society material. But I wasn't just a teacher, I was my father's daughter. He was a retired detective, and he'd raised me to read between the lines, to prepare for the worst. It hadn't taken long to uncover the truth. Amanda, Margaret's best friend's daughter, fresh out of college and conveniently hired as David's assistant, she'd been showing up at every family dinner for weeks, smiling too sweetly at my husband while Margaret looked on. You'll need to be out of the house by next week, Margaret said sweetly now. David and Amanda will need somewhere to live. I savored another sip of tea. That's very considerate of you. Well, I doubt you'll find anything nice on a teacher's salary, she said. Perhaps if you'd been a better wife. I thought of the evidence, photographs, bank statements, video recordings all neatly compiled in my study, the private investigator's report, the legal documents ready to be served within the hour. You're right, Margaret, I said. Things will be different. She laughed, sharp and mocking, finally accepting reality. Are you? More than you know. Give Amanda my congratulations. I hung up before she could answer, setting my phone beside the envelope that contained proof of marriage fraud, financial manipulation, and conspiracy. The doorbell rang, perfect timing. When I opened the door, Jim stood there, my father's old partner, now a private investigator, wearing the same grim smile he'd had the day he handed me the first piece of evidence. Everything's in place, Jim said, handing me a small USB drive. The evidence is with every relevant authority. Your husband's little wedding should be getting some very unexpected guests right about now. I slipped the drive into my pocket, picturing the scene at the church, David and Amanda mid-vow, the police walking down the aisle, Margaret's perfect smile collapsing, the guests watching it all unravel. Thank you, Jim, I said. He shook his head. Your father taught you well, kid. Always be prepared. When the door closed behind him, I returned to my kitchen. My tea was cold, my phone already buzzing non-stop. I didn't answer. Instead, I looked at the framed photo of my father on my desk, his detective's badge glinting in the sun at my college graduation. You were right, Dad, I murmured. Sometimes the best offense is a good offense. The messages rolled in fast. From Emma, my sister-in-law. OMG, Olivia, the police just stormed into the church. What did you do? From family friends. Is it true? Marriage fraud. Margaret's losing it in front of everyone. Police are questioning Amanda's parents. I sipped my tea and let them stew. 3 months ago, I'd started collecting evidence. Late nights, locked phones, whispered calls. David was careless. Hiring Jim for surveillance gave me photos, timestamps, and confirmation that Amanda was more than just an assistant. The real jackpot was Margaret's role, introducing them, arranging Amanda's job, hosting planning sessions in her own home. And her downfall, that fancy home security system she bragged about, one that uploaded everything to a cloud she didn't know how to lock down. Every conversation, every plan, every whispered scheme, mine. The phone rang for the 6th time. "David, this time," I answered. "How could you do this to me?" His voice shook with rage. "You've ruined everything." "I've ruined everything?" My tone was ice. Interesting, coming from the man trying to commit marriage fraud. "It wasn't fraud," he snapped. "I was going to divorce you eventually. I just needed time to transfer all our assets, to leave me with nothing, just like you and your mother planned." Silence. Then, quieter. "How did you know?" "You forget who my father was. I can smell a conspiracy a mile away. You three weren't exactly subtle." I heard a scuffle. Then Margaret's shrill voice. "Give me that phone. You conniving little witch," she spat. "You've humiliated us. Amanda is devastated." "Fascinating," I said evenly. "Did you really think I wouldn't find out about the Assure account? The one you've been helping David funnel money into for the past 2 months?" Silence again. "Or maybe we should discuss the fraudulent loan applications you filed with my forged signature." "You can't prove any of that," she hissed, but her voice trembled. "Actually, I can check your email," I said evenly. "Pretty sure the police will want to talk to you about those documents, too." From somewhere in the church came the sharp click of heels against tile, followed by startled gasps and low murmurs. Margaret was checking her phone. "How did you get these?" she demanded. "Let's just say David isn't the only one who knows how to plan ahead. And by the way, you really should pick better passwords. Using Amanda's birthday, a bit on the nose." The evidence was airtight emails between her and Amanda's parents, bank statements showing the transfers, even recordings of their cheerful brainstorming on how to cut me out of the divorce settlement. "The forged loan documents are especially interesting to the police," I added. "Fraud carries real prison time, Margaret, but I'm sure you knew that when you practiced my signature." Her voice dropped to a hiss. "You've made a terrible mistake. We'll fight this. Be my guest," I said. "The judge will love your own security footage. The audio's so clear you can practically hear David smirking as you discuss hiding assets from me. Money well spent, I'd say." I heard David in the background, demanding details. Amanda was crying. Someone was already asking about lawyers. "One more thing," I said before hanging up. "Cancel the honeymoon. David's passport has been flagged." I ended the call and turned to the garden outside my study window, the one I'd planted when we first moved in. David had always complained about the hours I spent there, never realizing it was my sanctuary. The garden had taught me patience, the very skill I'd used these past 3 months to quietly collect every shred of evidence they'd need to destroy themselves. My phone buzzed with a text from Jim. "Police have everything. David and Margaret are being taken in. Need me to come over?" "No thanks," I replied. "It's a beautiful day for new beginnings." The fallout came fast. Within weeks, they were both facing fraud charges. Amanda's family backed away, swearing they'd been misled. Their perfect plan collapsed in record time. At my lawyer Sarah's office, the victory was almost anticlimactic. "He's agreed to everything," Sarah said, smiling. "Full asset division in your favor. House stays yours. He pays all legal fees. Margaret faces separate charges for the forgeries." "How's he taking it?" I asked. "Poorly. The school board suspended him pending investigation. Principals who commit fraud aren't exactly in demand." "And Margaret?" Sarah's smile sharpened. "Her country club friends suddenly can't remember her name. Funny how that works." The next day, I met Emma, David's sister, at our usual cafe. She'd always been polite, though careful to stay out of family politics. "Mom's selling her house," Emma said without small talk. "Can't cover the legal bills, and no one will help her. Reputation's toxic." I sipped my latte, remembering all the smug parties Margaret had thrown in that house, each one an excuse to parade Amanda in front of me. "David's living there now," Emma went on. Amanda's family is threatening to sue them both. It's a full-blown scandal. I smiled faintly. Couldn't have happened to nicer people. Emma stared into her coffee. I should have warned you. I saw the signs, but I didn't want to believe Mom would go this far. It's not your fault, I said gently. Your mother made her own choices. A humorless laugh escaped her. Funny thing, Mom always said you weren't good enough for our family, but you're the one who beat them all. A week later, Amanda showed up at my door. She looked smaller somehow, her usual bravado replaced by restless, guilty energy. I'm sorry, she blurted. I know it's not enough, but I had to say it. Margaret, she made it sound romantic. A secret wedding, true love conquers all. And leaving me with nothing, was that part romantic too? Color drained from her face. I was stupid. Margaret said you trapped David, that you were after his money. While plotting to take everything I'd built, I finished. Some fairy tale. Amanda twisted her hands. My parents are furious. They're pulling me out of school to dodge the scandal. I never meant for it to go this far. Looking at her, I didn't see the villain Margaret had tried to mold, just a young woman who'd been played. Learn from this, I said. Don't let someone else write your story. When she left, I wandered into my garden. The roses I'd planted years ago swayed in the breeze, survivors of drought, storms, and Margaret's failed redesign. They'd grown stronger in spite of it. So had I. The final divorce papers arrived on a Tuesday morning, the sunlight spilling across my desk as I signed them. I thought back to my wedding day, Margaret's whisper, "You'll never truly be one of us." She'd been right. I was never meant to be someone who valued appearances over integrity, who mistook cruelty for strength. That evening, Jim arrived with champagne. "Your dad would be proud," he said, raising a glass. "He always said you had good instincts." "I learned from the best," I told him, remembering my father's advice. Trust your gut, gather evidence, always be prepared. Later, alone, I opened the worn leather case notebook my father had given me after college. Inside, in his neat handwriting, "Justice doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it's patience, preparation, and the courage to stand your ground." I closed it, smiling. David and Margaret had seen me as a harmless schoolteacher, easy to discard. They never realized I'd been playing the long game, one where justice wasn't revenge, but freedom. The garden was in full bloom, the house peaceful, the future mine. Sometimes the best victory isn't striking back, it's thriving anyway, cutting away the weeds, and growing stronger in the light.